I was not the kind of person, as you all know, who would come in front and say something. But I thank the Lord for bringing me here to be a witness for His glory. As you all know, from middle of last year and till the early months of this year, sorry, you just have to be with me. I've gone through really hard time, and same time I was pregnant as well, and I've been planning to do this testimony from long time. It's been 8 months nearly now, but every time I plan, something always happened. Obviously, devil, he didn't want me to do this, and as I was pregnant, I started having a problem with my legs, and I used to go to doctor, and doctor used to say, no, young girl, nothing wrong with you, everything will be fine, it's just pregnancy causing all this aches and pains. Then I used to just listen to my doctor and go back home and sit down and just, take the pain. Then I was working full time as well. As my pregnancy was progressing, then my problem was getting worse. And I got pregnant in May, and 2-3 months it was okay, not too bad. But in the month of August, James got baptized in the tent meeting. And since then, my problem started getting worse. Because we was all happy in the family, and I was pregnant, looking forward to have a baby and all these things. But you all know, devil don't like happy families. And since then, I started having a really worse problems, especially not just pregnancy, with my legs. So it was a big, really, not a small temptation, it was a really, really big temptation on us, not just for me, and for James also. So the time was passing on, my pregnancy reached to 20 weeks. Then that time, I was still working full time. Then I started walking funny way. When I was walking, I have to, like we normally walk, I couldn't walk that way. I had to really swing my leg around to walk. Then I was still going to work. Even I was working in a hospital, nobody even noticed there why I was walking like this. Because even my manager, all the work colleagues, doctor, they were saying the baby's pressing on the nerve. So I thought it could be, they'll be right. I'm just frustrating for nothing really. Then I thought it could get better after delivering the baby. Then I was about 26 weeks pregnant. I was sitting at home. I could feel my leg below the knee was cold, and my foot was quite numb. Then I went to see my GP that evening, and that time she thought must be something wrong there. And she sent me to Samuel Hospital for an emergency assessment. So James was with me. We both went to hospital straight away, and they did all the relevant tests to pregnancy, and they said there's nothing wrong. Then I was thinking to myself, everything is fine, but there's something causing this problem. Then they call one of the consultants there just to see if there is anything else. And that time they suspected it could be some kind of neurology problem. And then they said, you go back home now, then they will refer me to a neurologist. And after a couple of weeks, I had an appointment with my consultant. Then again, James and myself, we went to see consultant, and the consultant was there with his couple of his colleagues, and they did all the assessment and had a look on my leg and asked me all the questions, and they didn't say anything. They said, we've seen so many cases like this before, but they said they never seen anything like this in pregnancy. And they probably knew a little bit what cause in all this, but they probably didn't want to say anything in front of me. And they said, at a moment, you are walking a little bit, and they're not really going to do anything because I was pregnant, and the only way they could find out the problem if they do the MRI scan. But they couldn't do the scan then because of the baby, because they couldn't really put me through the scan, and they said it's not good for baby. So I was just stuck there, couldn't, just sitting at home thinking what's going on, I can't walk properly. So this is the not normal thing happen in pregnancy. Then the time was passing on, I was still there waiting, something will happen. And that day, they sent me back home. The day I went to see my consultant, he said, well, at the moment you are walking a little bit, you can go home, and if your symptom gets worse, and they gave me all their numbers and everything, because obviously they knew something is wrong there, and you can phone us and make an appointment. Then before we leave the clinic, I heard consultant talking to one of his colleagues. He said, well, the way I was walking, they said, well, she has got a foot drop and something they mentioned M&D. And I heard them. I don't know if James, he heard their conversation or not, but I did. But we come out from the clinic and we sat in the car. Then I was very upset. I said to James, something they was talking about is to do with the brain. And he said to me, no, Kristina, don't worry. If doctor hasn't said anything yet, why worry over something you don't know? And when they say something, then we'll deal with it. So I was very frustrated. I was trying to tell everybody something is going wrong, but everybody was saying to me, no, it's okay, this and that. Then I was thinking, I was probably going mad, overthinking, it's probably nothing, something is not there, and it will probably get better after delivering the baby. So we went home that day, and James, he dropped me at home and he gone back to work. Then I started looking on the internet. So as we all know, these days we don't know anything, we just look on the internet quickly. So I started reading, and when I just put M&D there, what I've read there, I was just on my own at home, just shocked. All I could see in front of my eyes, just dark. And they said if you have that kind of disease, the person just deteriorates within a couple of months. And I started thinking about my family, especially Olivia, James. I was thinking, I don't know if I have got that disease, that could affect the baby as well. So really worried. Then that time, all I used to do all day, I read my Bible, but the time I used to have left all day, I used to read all these things on the internet, what could it be, I was just going mad, because there was nobody there to help me that time. The family, they tried to help me, but all they could say is, no, just to keep me going, it's okay, Kristina, don't worry, everything will be fine, God will help you. So when I was 22 weeks pregnant, then as consultant said to me, if your symptom gets worse, come back to us. So within a couple of weeks, I was walking, and I was really struggling to walk anyway. And within a couple of weeks, I just sat down, and 32 weeks, my mom, James, he was really busy at work, so I had to make an emergency appointment. And in the